Narayana. Hari Om and greetings from Calgary. Right now we've completed our Chinmaya Inspiration Yatra 11 through the Canadian Rockies. And this yatra has been special because Swami Mitrananda has been with us. And a consistent message he's been sharing with us is to think small is a crime. To think small is a crime. Now, who do you think about the most? We all think about ourselves the most. So who are you? This is not some poetic, philosophical conundrum. It's the most practical question. Who are you? And if you think you are your skin, if you think you are your thoughts, then we should all be arrested, no? To think small is a crime, and if I think I'm a male, if I think I am anxiety, then I should be arrested. Actually, I am arrested by myself. But we all want to be free in every which way. And we are trying to be free by understanding that Ramayana is not just history. It is not just the path of Bhagwan Rama. It is the ayana to Rama. Ayana is path. Rama is joy. And we can understand this with another framework also. We want to be free through Vedanta. Veda is the path or knowledge, and Antaha is inside, is joy. So the words Vedanta and Ramayana are actually synonyms with each other. We will never, ever, ever be free as long as we externalize this subjective science. So, subjectify this. In Sri Rama Gita, which we had recently studied, Sri Lakshmana asks Bhagwan Rama some questions, and two of those questions I'll highlight. One of the questions is, what is God? What is Ishvara? And Bhagwan Rama answers Sri Lakshmana by saying, Ishvara is the controller. And another question that Sri Lakshmana asks Bhagwan Rama, what is Maya? And Bhagwan Rama answers, Maya is separation. I. If there's I, then there's you. If there is I, there is mine, and there is yours. Thinking about this more deeply, Ishvara is the controller, Maya is separation. The more evolved one is, the less stress they feel in their life. And as soon as stress starts to fade away, and so does selfishness. How? Someone who feels they're separate feels they're in control. Fully in control of themselves, of others. But one who knows God is the controller. So they don't have this arrogance that they control themselves, that they control others. So there's less stress, less selfishness. What could be more practical than having less stress and selfishness in one's life? And this was extended in the building of Bhagwan Rama's Setu. That the millions and billions of creatures, they did 1% of this bridge, and Bhagwan Rama facilitated the remaining 99%. Bhagwan Shiva is remembered as Bhagwan Rama's bridge is being built. Bhagwan Shiva is the icon of Shraddha. And Bhagwan Rama is the icon of Jnana. As we are going about our work in life, whether it's professionally or service or school, family, health, doesn't matter. Those who remember faith are those who receive knowledge. Shraddhavan labate jnanam, as Bhagavan Krishna shares in chapter 4 of Bhagavad Gita. It's surreal to see how interconnected Ramayana and Bhagavad Gita are. This is where we completed our study of Lanka Kanda. We continue. I'm on the 13th section of Chaupais. I'm reading the second line of the 4th Chaupai. 13th section, 4th Chaupai. This is the second line. Prabhu musukana samujai abhimana chapa charai bana sandhana. These are simple words. Prabhu musukana. Bhagwan Rama smiles. Why does he smile? Samuji abhimana. He understands ego. In this case, Ravana's ego. So what does he do? Chapa charai bana sandhana. He picks up a bow and strings this. He picks up an arrow and strings this to his bow. So what is the lead up to all of this? When all of the beings crossed over to Lanka, they worked so hard. The monkeys, the bears. And when you work hard, what do you want to do? When you come down from a long hike, what do you want to do? Eat. So Bhagwan Rama says, be free. And all of these monkeys and bears started eating everything. And earlier I'd shared with you that the pride of Ravana, the pride of Sugriva, the pride of the kings were their gardens. And these monkeys and bears ate up those gardens. And they can't eat everything, right? There's stones and there's hard bark. So what did they do? When you get to that apple core, etc., you throw it away, right? They should throw it at Lanka. So all of these trees and so on are hitting the fortress. And these thuds are scaring everyone in Lanka because they still remember the messenger of Bhagwan Rama burning down all of Lanka. So he's come back. Now, when Ravana starts to hear all of this banging, when he receives word that Bhagwan Rama and all of these beings are here, he starts to be shocked that this is possible. And there's a lovely line here. There's a lovely doha where Ravana describes the ocean in 10 different ways. So in English he says, Rama has crossed, and he uses words like, give me a moment. He uses words like waves, billows, sea, ocean, deep, brine, tide, rivers, etc., etc. And what's so poetic about this is he has 10 heads, correct? And all 10 of them are speaking in disbelief that Rama's arrived there. And I've shared this before, when someone talks too much, it shows they're scared. And whenever Ravana is scared, what does he do? Come on, you should know this. He laughs. He's scared, so he fakes it with Muhaha. And all 10 of these heads are doing that. So now close to Ravana is Mandodari again. I recently put up a rad about patience. Patience is not the ability to wait, rather is the ability to wait acceptingly, to wait cheerfully. And how many times Mandodari knows her husband is going to die because he doesn't listen to advice, but she stays with him and she tries to advise him again. Before Rama was in another country, now he's in our country. What does Ravana do? He laughs. This is a comedy. Ravana's a comedy. Now another family member comes. His name is Prahasta, and this is one of Ravana's sons. So many different relatives of Ravana. Grandfather, wife, brother, now son, is also telling him, this is dangerous what you're doing, and you can be saved. We can all be saved. What does Ravana do? He laughs again. But remember, he's not laughing at himself. He's laughing at Bhagwan Rama. Those who don't know how to laugh at themselves, the whole world laughs at them. Those who know how to laugh at themselves, the whole world laughs with them. Ravana's not a strong character. So all of this is happening. So now we come back to Bhagwan Rama. They've traveled long. They're on a hill. And Bhagwan Rama and everyone is looking at the moon. And Bhagwan Rama asks everyone, what is that dark spot in the moon? And some people say, this is the earth's shadow. Another person says, this is a scar on the moon. Another person says, this is a scraping off of the moon to make the face of Cupid's wife. Another person says, this is the heart of the moon. And finally, Hanumanji says, this is your reflection in the moon. So they're all reflecting on the moon. And why this is important? Because opposite to them in Lanka, what is Ravana doing? Even though Bhagwan Rama is in Lanka, he's enjoying in his court, smoking, drinking, dancing, music. And when Bhagwan Rama senses this arrogance of Ravana, what does he do? He picks up his bow, takes that arrow and strings it and shoots it. And when he shoots this arrow from this hill into Lanka, it knocks down that umbrella that is over Ravana and it falls on him. It knocks out the earrings of Mandodari also. And then that arrow comes straight back to Rama's quiver. So let's open this up some more in a Vedantic sense. When Mandodari is describing Bhagwan Rama, she says that this is the same person who destroyed Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu. Now Ravana is a scholar. He knows who Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu are, yes? He knows that this is an incarnation of Bhagwan Vishnu. He knows that Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu were not small powers. And here Mandodari tries to describe this to him, that this is the same Mahavishnu, which is lovely to see the connection between different yugas, different incarnations. Mandodari tells Ravana, what isn't there that you haven't accomplished? You are known as Bhagwan Shiva's Bhakta. You have Lanka, your family. What is there that you haven't accomplished? Why do you want more? Now for us, imagine Mandodari is asking us this question. What is there that you haven't accomplished? Why do you want more? Ravana's desirous, Ravana's greedy. Ravana's son says, you are most blessed that Bhagwan Rama cares for you enough that he came. He himself came to see you, to discuss with you. You should feel blessed and remember him too. So all of his family is giving this advice. Ravana's son says, you are in a win-win situation. If you return Mother Sita, you will be a winner. The whole world will remember that you've learned your ways. And if you give back Mother Sita and Bhagwan Rama still fights you, you're still a winner. Because you will die at the hands of God. Such logical, emotional advice. But he's not understanding. I think we receive advice all the time. From ourselves, from our family, from the world. The world is always trying to teach us in a logical way, in an emotional way. So much of our lives can change if we listened more. Such emphasis of Shravana is given in our Shastras. But that requires us to have some space in our minds. If we're too busy, we can't listen. If we're too stressed, we can't listen. If there's no meaning in our life, we can't listen. This is all Ravana. And I'm hammering this point because we still, even as I'm sharing it for 2 years, think Ravana is Lanka, think Ravana is historical. But I behave like him all the time. Why I brought up this point about Bhagwan Rama looking at the moon. Like, who cares what different people think about the moon? It shows again their continuous reflection. It shows how each person has a different perspective towards the same entity. When we were climbing the mountains of Alberta, some people thought this hill was harder. Some people thought this hill was harder. Some people thought this mountain was harder. But it's the same. We all climb the same, climb down the same, but each person's perspective is different. And why that's important to note is we become less egocentric. Otherwise, I think you should all understand my perspective. Isn't it that we all want to be understood? But who tries to understand others? And in this case, we see 5 cohesive personalities, Sugriva, Vibhishana, etc. And they also have different perspectives. So many of you are engaged in service, in teaching. The best teacher doesn't teach what they want. They teach what a student needs. Not what they want, but what a student needs. Ravana is a cesspool for swachanda. I'll say that word one more time. It's a new word I've learned also. Swachanda means someone who's indulgent, someone who's careless. The opposite of this is swatantra. Swatantra is someone who's careful, someone who's disciplined. And you see such a disparity between someone who's incomplete, Ravana, always complaining, and someone who's complete, someone who's content, Bhagwan Rama. Ravana Swachanda, doing whatever he wants. Bhagwan Rama Swatantra, is independent. And the last scene, and this relates to the raw you were given, the last scene in this section of Lanka Kanda, Bhagwan Rama is resting. And you have to really visualize this in your head, in your heart. Bhagwan Rama's head is on Sugriva's lap. Imagine being Sugriva. one of Bhagwan Rama's legs and feet is being massaged by Hanumanji. Another leg and foot is being massaged by Angada. In Bhagwan Rama's ears, Vibhishana is chanting. And who is not included thus far? Sri Lakshmana. Sri Lakshmana is in his Virasana, with his bow and arrow, watching all. What a lovely scene to see how Bhagwan Rama is at ease with all of his bhaktas. And during this time, he still has his hand on his arrow and his bow, vigilant. Now here again, I'm sharing that Bhagwan Rama gave each person a different way they can serve. Sugriva had one way to serve, Vibhishana another, Angada another, Lakshmana another, Hanumanji another. That's us. Every one of us can serve in our own way. Sugriva is not Hanumanji. Hanumanji is not Lakshmana. So why compare? We do that so often in the secular world, it slowly creeps into our sacred world too. God is great in giving all of us an opportunity to serve. And we would be great too if we created the same for the world. One more Chopai. I'm on the 19th section of Chopais. The fourth Chopai, the first line. Gayu sabha mana ne kunara namura bali tanaya ati bala daikura. Which means, Gayu sabha mana ne kuna mura. Angada goes into Ravana's court with an unwavering mind. Again, visualize this. Ravana's court's there. Ravana and his throne, all of his ministers, and Angada's a boy. He's not an adult. He's a teenager. With an unwavering mind, walks into Ravana's court. He is the son of Bali. He is most strong outside and inside. So Bhagwan Rama is resting, and then the day starts. And when the day starts, Bhagwan Rama asks all of the monkeys, all of the bears, what should we do now? Here we are, there's Ravana, what's our strategy? And all of the beings say we should send Angada. So I'll get into that some more. This is Bhagwan Rama's camp. We go to Ravana's camp. The day broke. Ravana hasn't slept all night. Indulging, he's in his court. Mandodari tried to speak to him. Prahasta tried to speak to him. When Mandodari's earrings drop, she's even more deeply affected. And she goes back to Ravana one more time and says, you know, your crown has fallen. With that umbrella, your crown has fallen. Pay attention. I'm sharing this because I love you. And Ravana responds saying, this is just a crown falling and you're saying this is a bad omen. My head is fallen and Bhagwan Shiva blessed me. Because earlier on, Ravana offered his head, not just his crown, to Bhagwan Shiva. And Bhagwan Shiva blessed him. Ravana just does not get it. So Mandodari goes on. She says, the person in our country right now, his moving of his eyebrows is death. His teeth are Yama. And she goes on and on describing his eye is the sun. And as Ravana's hearing this, all of his hands are on his chin and his head is moving. What does he do? He starts to laugh again. He says, Mandodari, you love me so much that though you're using the word Rama as all of this, I think you're describing me. That when I move my eyebrows, there is death. That my teeth are Yama. My eyes are the sun. Ravana's interpreting all of this as Mandodaris sharing all of this. That itself is just a hilarious scene. So Bhagwan Rama asks everyone, they say Angada should go. So Angada goes into Lanka. And as he goes into Lanka, he sees Ravana's son, Prahasta, and they start to talk. And it's so funny how Tulsidas writes this. He goes, from words they proceeded to fight. First with words, then with fighting. And Angada ends up destroying Prahasta. And lots of people are seeing this. But they're too afraid to go and tell Ravana that his son has died. So everyone kind of just walks away, ignoring that whole scene. And finally, Angada gets to Ravana's court. And when he gets to Ravana's court, he sends a messenger saying, I'm here. Ravana says, bring him in. And Angada goes and sits down in that court. He takes a seat with everyone else. Some of our katha. So now we've introduced Angada. We've all heard about him. We've all seen him in a TV serial. But here are some details about him. Okay. Coming back to the Vedanta part, when Ravana says that, I've offered my head and that was never a bad omen. I sometimes meet people who have done something once and feel they should be rewarded for it forever. Yes? It's like saying, I donated in 1985 and you should still appreciate me every year. Many of us are like that. We do something once and expect that appreciation forever. And Mandodari is trying to point out here that times have changed. And for us too, there should be a continuous offering. I read Ramayana once. I don't need to read it again. Yes, I've done japa with one mala. Why do it again? It's the same mala. This has to go on and on and on, but Ravana doesn't get it. Some ritualists are like this. I've done my puja. I don't need to remember Bhagwan for the rest of the day. As Mandodari is describing Bhagwan Rama, have you heard such a description before? Of the head being Satyaloka, that is heaven, the feet being Patala or heaven or hell. This is all Purusha Suktam. We chant Purusha Suktam. And Purusha Suktam comes from the Upanishad. So carefully, Goswamiji shows how learned Mandodari is. And how integrated Ramayana and the Upanishad is. I told you that earlier. When Bhagwan Vishnu became Bhagwan Rama, the Veda became Ramayana. So we may not be studying in a very formal way, Mandukya Upanishad or Taittiriya Upanishad, but this is Upanishad. Bhagwan Rama is being described as the Purusha, the infinite person. So now the main part of this dialogue where Mandodari is describing Bhagwan Rama as the infinite, and Ravana thinks he's being described. You know who does that all the time? The ego. The ego feels it is the absolute presence in our life. How are you able to think? Because of the ego. How is it that I'm alive? The ego steals the presence of the spirit of Atma and says, I am the highest. I am the absolute. And there's a hilarious episode in Bhagavatam that showcases the same. You know that saying, will the real XXX stand up? Will the real Slim Shady stand up? Or will the real Madonna stand up? Will the real Vasudeva stand up? In Bhagavatam, there's one king. His name is Raja Paundraka. And Raja Paundraka thought Lord Krishna was a fake. Krishna, and he was the real Krishna. He actually had arms made up of wood that were attached to his back. And he had a discus too that he was like those fidget spinners? He had to do it himself. That was made out of wood. So what this is showing us in Bhagavatam is Raja Paundraka is like the ego, thinking I am the absolute. And Lord Krishna very lovingly has to show him that you're not. that Sudarshan Chakra comes and destroys those arms, destroys his chakra. You know what the word Sudarshan means? Sudarshan means vision. Darshan means sight. Sudarshan means vision. And where does vision come from? Knowledge. The antidote to ego, stress, selfishness, enjoyership, doership, is knowledge. And to prepare ourselves for knowledge, we have to engage in responsibilities, which I've been emphasizing in our Upadesha Sara course. When Bhagavan Rama asks everyone what we should do next, how empowering Bhagavan Rama is to all of those beings. And Goswamiji specifically says, Bhagavan Rama says this to Angada, I need not give you any elaborate instructions. How much faith Bhagavan Rama has in Angada, this teenager. Now when we look around at all of our committees, when we look around at all of our boards, are there any teenagers on our committees or boards? Do people retire from their professional work anymore? Maybe it's our lack of faith in ourselves that we don't give opportunities to youth, to young adults. And it's a cycle, so they start to feel that they're useless. And the more you feel you're useless, the more useless you become. The more careless you become. Which is why Gurudev said, youth are not useless, they are used less. Bhagavan Rama was most empowering. Why Angada feels so strong, physically and mentally. Remember, he's a boy. He's a teenager. This is Ravana. Because the whole time, he knows that Bhagavan Rama is honoring him. He doesn't deserve to do this work, but Bhagavan Rama is honoring him. And he never forgets that. He never forgets that opportunity, which is why his mind is unflinching. When someone is grateful, when someone feels that God has given them this opportunity, parents, siblings, to study, to be healthy, they're not distracted then. They're focused. Now, Angada sitting in this court. What happened next? Oh.